y'all, we're back with part 2 of our chicken bone broth. I know the anticipation's killing you, I know, but I'm back. I apologize. This actually went a little bit longer than 24 hours. Right around 36 hours is where we finished this up. And the good thing about broth is the longer you do it and the longer you let it go, the better it gets and the richer it gets. So this is just going to be even better than before. About halfway through the 36-hour period, I did add a splash of vinegar in there. What that vinegar does is it gets into the bone marrow and helps pull out those nutrients and just makes this thing so much better for you. It really is delicious. You don't taste the vinegar at all, but it just gets in there, pulls all of that out, so this makes an even better bone broth. So what I'm doing is I have my jars right behind me. You can't see it, but it's over here. Those are heating up in my canner because we have a hot liquid. Hot liquid goes into hot jars. I repeat, hot liquid into hot jars, into a hot canner, because if you put hot liquid into cold jars, into a canner, you're gonna have broken jars. And that's wasted food, and we don't want that at all. That is sad times, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my broth strained to get out the little bits and stuff, and then we will come right back and I'll show you what we're gonna have once we get that put into the jars. All right, so I've got my broth strained. I still have a little bit left in my roaster, but this bowl is not gonna hold much more. Now, my canner is a 23-quart Presto canner, and it will hold 7 quart jars. Chicken broth is a low acid food, and that means we have to pressure can it, and that will make sure that it seals properly. It heats up to the proper temperature so that it's safe for the shelves. But we are gonna do quarts today. But look how dark this is. It is so beautiful and dark amber color. It is gonna be delicious. I'm super excited. So I've got my quart jars here. I have my canning funnel, and I'm gonna put this right over top. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is supposed to help it not be messy. It's still gonna be messy. So I just kind of like to hold my jar, and I've got my measuring cup, and can you see that? Oh, isn't that great? And we're just gonna fill this up here. And I might not be able to hold it the whole time because it is hot liquid. I'm gonna try my best. But we're gonna fill this up to 1 inch of headspace. I'm gonna show you where that's at. So when you get to this lip right here, that's 1 inch of headspace. So I can actually add just a smidge more, and I'm gonna do that. Then I'm gonna put a clean lid, which looks like this. These are your lids. You want clean lids. I'm gonna put that on there. And then I'm gonna put a ring on, and we're gonna finger tight, not crank it down real tight, just finger tight, and I'll show you how we do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill up the rest of these, and then I'll bring you right back and show you how we put our lids on to get them put into the canner. All right, so we've got all of our broth jarred up. We came out with 7 quarts and 5 pints worth. Now, like I said, my canner only holds 7 quarts at a time. So what I did is I put the rest of the broth that was in the pint size in some freezer containers, and I'm gonna throw those in the fridge. Excuse me, I'm gonna throw those in the freezer so I can gift those to friends and family. And they freeze up great. Broth freezes up great. So if you don't have a canner, or if you're not comfortable canning, then you can always freeze your broth. Works just the same, still delicious. So this is what our broth looks like right now. And what I'm gonna do is, I have a damp paper towel. I'm gonna wipe the rim, just like this. Just gonna wipe around the rim to make sure there's nothing on it, nothing sticky, no residue, no nothing. Because when I put my lid on there, we wanna make sure that there's a good seal. And if there's anything that's on the rim of the jar, that lid is not gonna seal. Then, like I said, we're gonna take our ring and we're just gonna put that on there. Finger tight, that's it. You don't have to crank it down, just finger tight, and that is all you need. So then we're gonna take this, put it in our in our canner and get the rest of these going, and then I'll show you what it looks like once it's in the canner. All right, so our jars are in our canner. I'm gonna go ahead and put our lid on here, and then we are going to let this come to pressure. What's gonna happen first is it is going to build up pressure, and we're gonna let it vent for 10 minutes, and I'm gonna show you what that looks like. All right, so our lid is on. I'm not gonna touch it because it's hot, but we are gonna let this vent for 10 minutes. So this little stem valve right here, it is going to start pushing up steam here in just a little bit. And once we have a steady flow of stream, we're gonna set a timer for 10 minutes. Once that 10 minutes is up, then we're gonna come in with our weight, and we're gonna put our weight on there. So then the weight goes right over top of that stem. That is when we start watching our pressure gauge. So our pressure gauge is right here. And so for my elevation, we are going to get up to 10 pounds of pressure. So once we put our weight on here, then it is going to build up pressure. Once it builds up pressure, it's going to get to 10 pounds of pressure. And then once that happens, we are going to set a timer for 25 minutes. Now for canning broth, pints, you want to can it for 20 minutes, pressure can. And then for quarts, it's 25 minutes. So that's when we're gonna set our timer, and I will bring you all back once we are venting and we've got some steam going. All right, so it's kind of hard to see, but we do have a steady stream going now. So I'm gonna set a timer for 10 minutes, and we're gonna let this steam and vent for 10 minutes. Once that 10 minutes is up, then I'm gonna go ahead and put my weight on, and then we will start our actual canning process. All right, our 10 minutes is up. It is time for us to put our weight on. So we're just gonna come over here and whoop, just like that. All right, so here is our pressure valve. So you can see currently it's at 0. We need to get all the way up to 10 pounds of pressure. So that is gonna take just a couple of minutes. And once it gets up to 10 pounds of pressure, then we're gonna set our timer for 25 minutes, and that is going to start our canning process. All right, y'all, we have hit our 10 pounds of pressure. I'm gonna adjust the temperature on my stove, and just that way it doesn't keep going up in pressure, because if I keep it at the temperature that it's at now, it is gonna continue to rise. So I'm gonna go ahead and adjust that. We're gonna set our timer for 25 minutes. And then what we're gonna do after that timer goes off, we are going to turn off the burner. We're gonna let the dial go all the way back down to 0, and then we're gonna let it sit for about another 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll take the lid off and pull our jars out, and I will bring you back for the finished product. And we're back. All right, guys, so we have finished canning our broth, and we are gonna let it sit out on the counter overnight for the next 24 hours to cool and seal. Do not remove your rings. Let them sit here for 24 hours. Once that is up, then you can take your rings off, and then you can store these on your counter. Hope you guys enjoy.